So this will be a pretty quick video. Basically, I get a lot of job postings sent to me from Upwork. I want to quickly see which ones I might be interested in, which ones I'm a good fit for, and then make a reply in the video. But in this video, it's not about Upwork as much as like how to use Google Sheets to do things like hot prompting or Google Docs. How to use Google Docs as a tool and an AI agent so that you can feed that AI agent information, your resume, social links, and voice. So you can quickly give it the voice that you want it to write in, but it knows which tools to use. So another quick way and nice way to use Google Docs because you can go edit them and anyone on your team can edit them. And then finally, we'll put it into a Google Sheet. So not only can we see the data more easily and manipulate the data, but we can then feed it back in later on as to help us with like multi-prompting or not training, but a way to give the LLM context of past successes. All right, I hope you enjoy. All right, so I have an extra email box I use for job postings. There's so many ways to do this. I could have just gone straight from Gmail, but what I do in Gmail is I just have a filter that just forwards them. If it's from Upwork, it just forwards them. Now, what happens though is I want to decide, is this an email that's a potential new, or is it an email that's just a message coming back to me? And if it's a message coming back to me, I put that into Slack just to make sure I don't miss it, because I'm always missing emails. I get a lot of, I'm just not that organized. But here's the cool part. So now we have a prompt, and as it's going through this, it's picking up this prompt data. Let me just click, this guy's already pinned, this guy's good, and then I'll do this guy. Okay, so as we see, it just grabs the Google Doc. Now, what I typically do is I'll link to things, right? So prompt is here. So again, when I come in or someone I work with comes in, they know where all these documents are. So now we have our prompt, and what that prompt does is it's just a prompt. It's the system prompt. So let's go look at that. And it just gets injected in here. So we take that Google Doc that we can edit and we inject it right here. So I could do that, for example. And then we get both the date and time right there. So we can mix and match our prompt as needed. So now we load our prompt in here and we run our agent. Now, I added it here because I do want the date time, and I was having trouble getting that work inside of the Google Doc, but I think it can. But otherwise, yeah, you see the Google Doc pulled in here because I'm just dragging the particular content over to here. So now we're benefiting from a Google Doc. We're benefiting from a prompt that we can just go edit. So now this will start using these tools, and it's not because of the prompt. The prompt is actually pretty lame. But it will use the tools because that's part of the AI agent. Now here, I did try the DeepSeek one. I was having trouble getting it to use tools, so I went back to OpenAI. But we can see, and I'll do a cost at the end of this, but we can see here I have some tools, and all those are just documents. So basically at this point, I have a resume in Google Docs. I have some social links I made, which I will show in a moment here. And there's the prompt, and then I have a voice doc, which just is like how I would potentially like to reply to these. At this point, the LLM should have a sense of how to reply, maybe add some of my links, and then my resume so I can get a sense of my past history. Now, the prompt should be smart enough to say, hey, don't reply to certain things, reply to other things, which ones I'm interested in, which ones I'm not. And over time, I just keep fixing it or making it better. But the other way I'm going to make it better is here, which I'll show in a moment. But before we go there, this is really important. So I did a define below schema type for this. By default, it will go to generate JSON. Now, in here, per the JSON schema docs, I just defined how I want the data to come out of this. And before I did that, I had some trouble. It would error out. I was trying to use Grok, or I was trying to use OpenAI. Just seems to get it almost every time. We can see in the execution history quite a few runs. They send a lot of email. I might have to, once I look at the price, and decide to slow this down. But anyways, so we have the structured output. It gets our voice and everything, and which is cool. If we look at some of these, we can see potentially if it decided to use these tools. So here's a nice view of it saying, hey, I'm going to go use the resume, I'm going to use the voice, I'm going to do obviously the structured output, and then put it into the Google Doc. We then see that it did all that. And what I love about all of this is we have our logs. We can go through maybe what it got. Like I remember here in one place, look, it's not getting content. I've seen this before where Google Doc doesn't really output the content. Voice is working, but this guy, I might have done something wrong where it was a doc and I uploaded it. So I'm going to go fix that in a moment. I'm glad I looked. And so basically at this point, it reaches to both of those and it goes and it hands it to the model, and then it comes out with the output, and then it does the whole structure thing. Yeah, it's just really good that we can go back and see that. Now, this guy here, and so this is another good example of how easy you can get data somewhere that you can look at in a more comfortable way without a database or without building a UI. But basically, I line up a bunch of the responses from the structured data. So let's give ourselves some room here. And we get the output from the agent as structured data. And then I can just carry those over. Now what happens is we make this spreadsheet here. And I just do a timestamp. At first, it's really basic, honestly. Where is that timestamp? I think it's right here. 2 millis. And then make sure it's from Upwork. We pull out the subject, the rate, the type, and then it can create a TLDR. I don't need to do this with everyone. I'm going to probably just save some tokens and money. I could even just do a quick filter if it has certain words, but I don't want to do that just yet. I want to see what we have. Obviously the link so I can go look. And then it starts to take in the full message and make a possible response. So it should also give me a sense of why it thinks it's a good fit. But with all that, we then could easily reply. Now, it shouldn't be doing a reply for each one of these. It's only supposed to do a reply if I like it. So basically, what I want to do next is say, okay, interested. So if I say make reply, then I'm going to have another scheduled task or a reactive task to the Google Sheet update. I don't want to do reactive because it could get to be like a loop. But what I'll do is I'll then say, okay, if it's marked make reply, then it will come back through and then fill this in. So after that, though, I could come in and say, did I like this? I could say 4 is a high like, 0 is nah, I don't want this type of job. Or even more, I could give it some information of what I liked or didn't like. So later on, I'll put this in as a training prompt. Not really training, a multi-shot prompt. So we can then help the LLM understand the goals better. And actually, I'll do that in the next video because I do have it in another video, but it'd be neat to see this after I get it done, you know, how it's working. So that feature will be easy for you to understand. All right, I hope that helped. Just a lot of easy ways in N8N to do these one-off tasks or build little automations for your own work, for your own day-to-day, and obviously for customers. There is a training to help people learn how to approach these tools in your everyday work because it is a game changer for people who are used to coding everything to now no code. So N8N is a big game changer, and AI is another part of that. Not only writing your code when that works, but also, as you saw with the AI agent, having it do things. So there's a training link below to start thinking that way and help you take that next step. I think that will help a lot. All right, comments below because they help. Subscribe and share and even offer suggestions. I want to make sure I'm hitting things that are helping you. All right, thank you. Use Google Docs because you can go edit them outside of N8N, and anyone on your team can edit them.